I don't know if you can tell, I come from a marketing background, so I have so many ideas of how to leverage what we have in the sport, but the people at the top aren't doing that. I think they're just getting a salary and they're just doing the bare minimum, and they get away with it for 5 years like Dan Solomon does. So I don't know. I came over to Vancouver and started working for Mutant. And for the next 10 years, I, was running the social media. I was doing the ad campaigns and strategy and finding athletes to bring on and sponsor. And I remember there's Martin Kellstrom. He was this crazy beast, 300 pounds mutant from Sweden. I remember we brought him on and he was all over the magazines and ads and stuff. I was the athletes coordinator as well. So again, I worked closely with the athletes, and then we brought on Rich Piana, and that's where I met him for the first time, and he signed the contract, and we went for a workout after for the first time, and the rest is history with Rich. I traveled the world with him. I would hope that there would be some type of criteria where if you get your pro card, you got to compete every year. If you don't compete every year, you're going to lose your pro card. You're going to lose your status to compete, and you're going to have to go back down to the amateur rank. Would the pressure be on?
Oh yeah.
There you'd have a lot more athletes competing, right? And it would just make it like they're not really thinking. They're not innovative.
Canadian bodybuilder, veteran, entrepreneur, fitness industry influencer, born in Saskatoon. Help me out here. 2 times Mr. Canadian national title holder in both bodybuilding and classic. Real estate mogul, marketing and brand specialist, obviously.
You can think the real estate mogul. I did have a real estate company, yes, but I wasn't like a mogul or I had a real estate or something, involved in had a real estate company, real estate business owner, or something like that. But
did you buy real estate?
Yeah, I had apartment blocks, and I was flipping homes, and
Well, I'll tell you what. This is good. You are a real estate mogul. It's just you were. So that's why we're going to talk about it. So in other words, we're not talking present only. We're talking about the build-up of Matthew.
All right. Sounds good.
Because I had a lot of properties myself, which I don't have many now, so we can talk about that. Marketing and brand specialist, and you oversaw Rich Piana, and I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about that.
Yes.
Has a meal prep company and recently launched his Helix cream of rice company. Trainer and a voice and influence like no other. Love him or hate him, the truth will always prevail. Matthew Tsinkorang.
You said it right on the video. You're like Tsinkorang. I'm like, oh, you actually said
yeah, I can do it. I've got ethnic background.
Yeah.
So I can make things roll.
That's your name. So Tsinkorang. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
No T.
No T. Oh, Tsinkorang. Matthew Tsinkorang. Silent T.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm good, brother. Thank you for having me on the show here. You're very brave. You're very, courageous to have me on the show. I'm sure Bob is not going to be happy that you're having me on the show. You may be a little blacklisted after this, but hey, you know what? I appreciate you. You're not biased. You're open to having people on the show, no matter what side they're on or and what they're into. So I really do appreciate that, brother.
Look,
you got balls.
Yeah, I have got balls, and to be honest, when I say I haven't thought about it so much, not that I need to think about it so much. Look, I think when you're playing the long game in any business, I mean, today's today, yesterday is gone, and we move towards tomorrow. And like I said, in every business, we all have opinions and ideas, and we talk about things. Sometimes I'm not sure if it's necessarily personal that we're talking, but mainly we're talking about the objective of what we're encountering in business, or in our case or your case, federations and fairness. I mean, all you have is an opinion. Not everyone likes it, but at the same time, people are listening, and sometimes people are happy that you're saying things they're thinking. So like I said, it's a mixed bag. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a mixed bag. People have their opinions, and I seem to have an opinion that seems to trigger a lot of people, especially Bob. I'll probably be mentioning Bob a lot on this show because whenever he goes on a podcast, he has to talk about me. So now it's my turn, Bob. Okay?
Look,
I'm getting some payback.
I'm sure. I'm like, you know what? I've noticed, and correct me if I'm wrong, sometimes when we do things online, hear me out, or we do things over a phone call, whatever it is. It seems like when we meet in person, we actually find out the true character. So I'm sure when you meet in person as gentlemen, you can discuss things. This is what I'm saying. It's when you meet in person, there's no filters, there's no whatever you want to call it. So I'm sure, like I said, I've seen many bodybuilders from Sean Race to Lee Priest to everybody. You think they don't like each other, they don't get on. Then you're seeing them in photos doing selfies together. I mean, once you're in person, you've got to respect the industry.
Yeah. And I've never, I don't think I've met Bob. I've seen Bob at expos, but I don't think I've ever had a conversation with him in person. You know, for whatever reason, Bob does not like what I have to say. And I understand, I get it. Right. Yeah. I'm pointing things out that he probably doesn't want pointed out, and he's reacting to that, you know, and I know he's the PR man for the Manions. And that's what I believe, especially seeing him at the recent meeting with Jake Wood and Dan, and who's there, Bob. So, I mean, okay, I guess that kind of lines up with what I've been saying and what a lot of people think. So, you know, it is what it is. If I were to meet Bob in person and we had a conversation, I'm sure it would be cordial. Yeah, I don't think it would get heated or anything like that. I'm sure there'd be some jokes and stuff like that. But, you know, or maybe he'd be, I don't know. Well, I don't know what he would do in person with me, but time will tell, because eventually it's going to happen. I will be at an expo, Bob, and I will see you at the Arnold or the Olympia, Bob. So it's going to come. So I'll be ready.
I'm sure. Okay. I put money down that you two will be fine. I'm sure. Like I said, I've had encounters with people in the past, even in this bodybuilding industry. And when you see them in person, everyone drops their guard down. No one wants confrontation. And actually, sometimes in person, you feel different with the people. There's that energy, and you can respect them. So I'm sure, like I said, I'm quietly confident that everything will be all right. But like I said, this is I treat this as the Tonight Show of bodybuilding, right? So I'm just Jimmy Fallon. I'm Jimmy Fallon, and I get guests on. So I'm not really biased to, to say Tom Cruise over another actor. I'd like to get actors on, and people want actors to talk and share their stories and the movies they're going to do. So here it's about, you know, we talk. And also, you know yourself, I've spoken to some reputable goats and accolades that they've achieved, and I've spoken to nobodies, and both have essence and substance in this podcast growing. So like I said, we're all here together. So I just want to go, like, obviously going on with your stories and seeing some of your stories before we go into your life here. I want to know, because you had an opinion on it, and I thought it's a good idea. What's going on in America? What's going on with ICE?
Yeah, I did make a post there.
You did.
And I've been having some internal debates with people. Yeah. I won't name names. No. And I don't know. I'm all for ICE having to do their job. Yeah. Right. They're there to do a job. And when you have certain people, protesters, impeding what they're supposed to be doing, yeah, of course they're going to get a little bit irate. They're going to get pissed off. You know, if you had someone heckling at your job all day, you'd probably get a little tense with it. Yeah. But I think my issue is, and I think what a lot of people's issue is with ICE, is the way they're going about doing what they're doing. Yeah. Okay. You know, ICE was around and they did their job when Obama was president and when Biden was president, right? And none of this was happening with them. Yeah. Okay. They were going after the criminals and the rapists and the murderers that are here or in America illegally. Yeah. Right. And now you have these ICE agents going out and going into neighborhoods. They're going into Home Depots. They're going to gas stations. They're going to, you know, restaurants, you know, Mexican restaurants and stuff like that. And they're just snatching people up. And people are saying, I'm a U.S. citizen. I'm a U.S. citizen. I have my papers. And the ICE agents don't seem to care. They'll be bullies and they'll take them out anyways. And it's unfortunate that in America you have your rights and your freedoms, and it doesn't seem like that anymore under the certain, you know, situation that's happening with these ICE agents. So I don't know. I just think they're doing it the wrong way. I do support the agenda, but I don't support the format in which they're doing things and how they're running things. And you can see the response that it's having. It's a mess. It's chaos on the news. It's tear gas, it's this and that. And I'm like, is this what you guys want? Is this how you want it? Is this what you want? America? You want people from the outside in looking at America, like the riots and the protests and the tear gas and shooting people and this and that, fighting with the ICE agents. Like, it's a mess. It's a mess. And it comes down to the top down. It's how you run your administration. And this is how, unfortunately, this is how Trump wants to run his administration. And this is what you get. This is what you guys voted for. And this is how it's going to be for the next 3 years. So get used to it.
Hey guys, Steve here. I hope you're enjoying the podcast. I don't want to take up too much more of your time. You know the drill. We'd love you to subscribe. We'd love you to hit the notification bell. Why? It gets us out there, allows us to go and get bigger, better, greater. We've already had some great guests, as you know, but we want to continue this. We want to continue this journey with you. So if you could, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you're notified each time we put up a new podcast. Thank you for allowing me to take you away from the podcast. Let's get back to it. Yeah, but do you think, like, also what I'm seeing is, which I've never seen before, the tension between law and order, the police department and the government, the governing agents for that state. I've never seen such divide. And I don't know about you, but do you think somewhat we're heading towards a civil war? Do you think there could be a revolution?
No, I don't think there'll ever be another civil war. I'd never say never, but I don't think there will be a civil war. I think there'll just be these continued riots, or not, they're not even riots. It's protests that get out of hand. And then they'll continue on. And then once Trump is gone, and if it's whoever it is, Vance or Newsom or whoever, maybe Kamala, I don't know, right? Whoever wins, it'll just go back to normal. It'll just go back to normal, how it was. Boring Biden. It'll be like boring Obama, just nothing happening, nothing in the news. It's just Trump. It's the Trump effect. Right. And he gets people under people's skin. He riles them up because of the way he talks. People don't like it. Some people love it.
What do you think of Trump?
I think Trump, he had an opportunity to be a really good president. Right. And, he came into office and he made a lot of promises. I'm going to drain the swamp and this and that. And then he didn't do that. And people were getting like, okay, well, what? I thought you were different. And then, he started, didn't really do a lot of the things he said he was going to do. But then, and then Biden came along and that was that. It was pretty boring. And then Trump came back in. And once again, the Epstein files, a lot of the mega supporters are upset with him because he's not being, transparent with it, and Kash Patel not releasing the files and then lying about it and say, okay, we're all done the investigation here. Wait a minute, there's a million more files left. Okay, so you lied to your people, right? I thought you were all about getting this information out, Kash, right? Pam Bondi, there's nothing to see here. Wait a minute, there's more to see here. So they're lying to their voters and they're getting caught, and it's corrupt, and Trump's trying to cover it up and nothing to see here. So yeah, it's just, I don't know. I think it's a missed opportunity. He could have been a good president if he just didn't open his mouth half the time and say some of the shit he says. And I think that's what's part of the problem. That's part of the problem.
He'd be a great stand-up comedian, don't you reckon, as well?
Like, yeah, he's funny. Like, he could be funny, right? He could be funny. He could be offensive, right? And and
he's like those stand-up comedians that do bag politicians.
Yeah. So it is what it is. We'll see what happens here. I think it's actually going to get worse with the whole situation, unfortunately. Yeah. And whenever Trump is president, something major happens. And we saw what happened with COVID, right? And then now he's president again. And I think something major is going to happen that's going to change the course of how we live or something. I don't know.
Well, since, like I said, because I respect your intelligence around the things you're posting and around the world. Also, tell us about Canada, because I know Canada was going through a little bit. It had its own political kind of problems. I don't know, where are you guys at? There was a little bit of unrest. I don't know, Trudeau, a lot of the woke ship. There was unrest. I mean, I was watching, something that I didn't understand. Like, it wasn't easy to watch what was going on in Canada, especially during the Biden but Trudeau period. How's Canada going?
It's no better here in a sense. We have Mark Carney, our new leader, our prime minister, and the Liberals. So that would be like maybe the Democrats, in Canada, equal to that. And then the Conservatives here are like the Republicans.
Yeah, we have Labor Liberal here in Australia.
Yeah. So it's just like, I don't really even pay attention to Canadian. It's so boring here. It's like, we're a small country. We have 35 million people. I mean, that's the state of California. Like it's not that big. Yeah. So I don't know. And then Trump trying to say he wants to take over, make it the 51st state or whatever, take over Canada and stuff. That was for a little bit. And then he gets bored. I think Trump gets bored. He throws these things out and then he forgets and he's like, okay, on to the next thing.
He does.
Yeah. There's nothing much going on up here. We had a lot of, I think the main thing I see people kind of frustrated with is a lot of the immigration. We have a lot of people from India that have migrated over here for school and they, the real estate issues and housing inventory shortage. And now it's kind of reversed where they're deporting or not deporting, but they're not extending the student visas. And so now these people have to go back to where they came to India and China and things like that. And so now there's like all these empty condos and the prices are coming down and by 25%. So yeah, it's like a real estate crash here in Canada.
Then it's going to happen in Australia because we seem to be following suit. So we're saturated. Look, and the thing is, I guess before I go over your stories and then start talking about your life, I think my parents were immigrants. Like they came from Greece, but it just seems to be that when there was immigration once upon a time, we had industry, we had factories, we were building things. And also we hadn't yet sprawled back into suburbs. Housing was still growing. Like instead of going up, they were going wide. But now it seems like we're going up and we're creating a problem. We're just bringing in people. We don't have infrastructure, roads, transport. We don't even have the technology anymore. I don't know about you, but the phone services are crap at the moment.
We have like 3 carriers in Canada, like 3 major carriers. And then I think the US has like 10 or 15 or something.
We have a few, only 3 here too, I think.
Yeah. So it's I don't know. Canada's a little bit behind the times with certain things. There's a lot of people moving to like Southeast Asia. There's a lot of people moving to Thailand, to Vietnam, and they're getting out of here. Like fuck North America. It's expensive. Your money doesn't go very far. You go over there to Southeast Asia. I haven't been there yet, but I'm definitely wanting to visit there and see what the lifestyle is like out there because people are like, man, you can go to Bangkok, you can go to Vietnam, and you go to right, and it's just like you can get a villa for like $1,000 a month, and it's nothing over there. So it's the culture, the lifestyle. It's not what you see happening in America, and like I don't know, and even here in Canada. So
I don't think Western media wants to show us Vietnams and don't want to show us what Russia looks like. They don't want to show us what anything looks like. But I think in Vietnam or certain parts of Asia, like Bali and all those kind of places, that there are areas that look like Dubai.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's modern. It's in China too. Yeah. The cities are way more advanced.
Yeah.
Right. So it's way better. The people are calling America a third world country now because it's like, you got the homeless, you got the druggies, you got the murderers, the mass murderers and shit. You don't have that in Thailand and in Vietnam and Malaysia. That's not happening over there. Sure, there's communist countries and stuff like that, and it's a different government, but the people seem to be happy, and there's no mass shootings, and there's So I don't know. It's just you pick or choose what you want, but a lot of people are leaving. I think Canada saw its largest drop in population. I think the US is going through that now too, where people are just getting the fuck out of here. 30% tax rate, and it's just ridiculous.
No. I think there's got to be change, and I think we're all going to be looking at it globally where else we can go. It's here in Australia as well. But let's go with your recent stories. I won't go with the ones you just posted today, but they were kind of yesterday or the day before. Mm-hmm. You wrote that the Arnold Classic back in 1993 was claimed to be the biggest and the best. Obviously, Arnold was talking about that, and you wrote if the Mr. Olympia was to disappear, the Arnold Classic will take its place for sure. What were you saying about that?
Yeah. So if the Olympia, you can see the posts I've been making about the Olympia and the financial problems that it's going through. And when Jake Wood bought it in 2020 from AMI for $70 million, and he bought the magazines that came along with it. So it was a combination of things and the assets that come along with the Olympia brand. He reportedly paid $70 million for it. And, The Rock was interested in it, and Arnold was looking at it.
Wow.
Sylvester Stallone was looking at buying it. And David Patrick Bet David. Sorry, I keep getting his name.
Yes.
Patrick Bet
David.
He was actually talking about the Olympia, right? And those 4 or 5 individuals all looked at the Olympia and said, "I'll pass. I'm sorry. It's not an investment I want to take a risk on." But Jake Wood did. And Jake Wood, Wings of Strength owner, he was running that. I have information on that, and that financially, same thing. It's not in a good position, right? It's promoting women's bodybuilding, which obviously isn't really that popular. So from a financial standpoint, I'm wondering how that even makes money, right? I think he's just more like a charity case to it. He just loves women's bodybuilding, and hey, good for him. If he can afford to do it, sure, right? If, without him, maybe there's no more women's bodybuilding, and there's no more, right? So I'll give Jake credit on, propping it up and putting his money there and having a passion for that. At least I'm not going to totally tear him down, right? And again, without Jake Wood, there would be no Olympia, because he was the one that bought it. If no one would have bought them, it would have just dissolved. It would have just there'd be nothing, right? No one, unless AMI would somehow figure out how to off it and sell it for cheap, and maybe the Manions buy it or something, but they don't have enough money to do that. So it's Jake Wood's an interesting character. I call him the absentee owner, because he's the owner, but he's absent from the industry in a sense. He's not outspoken. He's not the Dana White of bodybuilding, right? Which we need. We're missing that type of character, that marketer, that guy that shouts at the rooftop, this is my brand, this is my company, and learn more about it. Jake Wood doesn't do that. He will come out on stage at the Olympia and say maybe a sentence or two, barely, and then walk off. Right. And, he's the owner of the Michelin. So interesting. I just think, he doesn't know really what he's doing, but he loves it, the sport, I guess. And he's put his money up. And I feel like Dan Solomon, they're taking advantage of Jake, and he's getting his $200,000 a year salary from Jake, and he's positioned to run the Olympia, and he continues, in my opinion, to put on not a good show, production wise. He, for some reason, can't figure out how to light the stage. There's a lot of people that do know how to light the stage, but maybe it's his ego that he will not let someone else come from the outside in and do it. Maybe it make to Jake, they'll be like, "Well, Dan, I'm paying you to do this. Why can't you? You have to spend more money now because you don't know how to light the stage." So, he kind of is just like, "I got it, Jake. Don't worry, I'll take care of this." And then every year it's a shit. So they're not innovative, right? They're not doing new things. They're just doing the status quo, the bare minimum, in my opinion. So as regards to getting off topic with the Arnold.
No, but let's go. But just go. Let's no. Stay there for a second. What would you? Because I want to not intervene. I want to say something as well. But what would you change if you were to run, or if you sat down with Jake? He said, "Come and talk to me, man. Let's talk. I want to get your ideas. I know you want to help as well, and you understand I love bodybuilding. So what would you say to him, or what would you do?"
Well, I would want to look at his marketing budget, and I want to know, where are you spending ads? And he would probably, "I don't do ads. Are we supposed to do that? I don't know." Right. So I'd be looking at his marketing budget, and I would be like, "Why aren't you doing any profile features on any of the athletes that compete in the Olympia? Why don't you got Instagram, you got Reels, you got TikTok. Why aren't we doing any features on any of these athletes?"
Yes, I agree with
you,
Don,
and market them, right? And get a backstory and do a feature on each Olympia that's coming to compete in Vegas. And here's the backstory on Derek Lunsford. And then they go and they film and none of that's happening. Okay. The format of the show, obviously we all know there's too many athletes competing at the show. So that would be completely rehauled. I would only have maybe 12 or so athletes in each division maximum, kind of similar to the Arnold. Okay. I would have it a one-day show. Okay. One-day show format where it's prejudging earlier on in the morning, and then later on it's the finals. So it's a 1-day show. So the classes have to be smaller if it's a 1-day show, like the Arnold, in a sense where it's just more streamlined. It's made for entertainment. At the end of the day, it's the Super Bowl of bodybuilding. Don't run it like just regular shows. This has to have some special treatment. Don't get trapped to think, oh, we have to run it like just every other pro show, right? So I would change that model. I'd also make it harder for people to qualify for the Olympia.
Yeah.
Right? You can't just win one pro show. You have to win 2 pro shows throughout the calendar year.
Yeah.
Qualify for the Olympia. You don't just get a one-off win and then you're into the Super Bowl of bodybuilding.
Yeah.
You got to compete. It's a career. You got to win 2 pro shows in all divisions in order to make it to the biggest stage in the world. It's too easy just to win one. I'm not saying it's easy to win a pro show, but it's too easy. And this way you get more people competing, right? They have a pro card. Don't compete one time per year. Some people compete once per year. One time. We see that athlete on the stage, and then we'll see him at the Olympia at the end of the year.
Yeah,
it.
It used to be a Grand Prix once upon a time. The athletes used to do so many shows.
Yeah. So make it harder to qualify. Only the elite, the best, the people that can win multiple pro shows. Okay, you're coming to the Super Bowl. You're coming to the Olympia. None of this one and done. Right? It's too easy in that sense. We want to see more athletes competing. We want to see more open men's bodybuilders competing on the stage, and giving that back to the fans, right? That's what's going to kind of revive things here. Make it more active, more competitive, right? It's just they're stuck in this old way of mentality, and we have slow minds like Bob around that they're not innovative.
We can't blame Bob for everything. We can't.
Well, he's the guy that makes all these suggestions, right? So he's right in there.
But I mean, let's not. We can't.
And he's the one on his podcast saying, "Well, we should do this, or we should do that," right? But maybe they listen to him, but they need to hire me is what they need to do. They need to bring me.
I hope they're listening to this podcast.
I will see a change.
Maybe they should hire you. No, I'm not. I'm saying maybe they should hire you. You should work together with Bob. Everybody's got a good opinion, and everyone should sit around the table and have a great debate and have the best interest for the sport. But I was going to say to you, isn't it a little bit like pro cards have been washed away? Everyone wants that profile, the pro name on their IG. So it's become a social media whitewash, like it just washed away. And think about this. Also, the guys that have obviously competed at Olympia, won a pro show, but they come 20th in the Olympia, they call themselves Olympians. And the funniest is we only know as really Dorian Yates as a true Olympian, Lee Haney as a true Olympian, Phil Heath as a true Olympian. Like Kai Green he's not truly like really an Olympian. He's competed, but you can't call, when you do like beauty pageants and they go, and the winner of Miss Universe. I mean, she is the one and only Miss Universe. All the other ladies, they're not Miss Universes. They are contenders. And I think everybody's taken the name. Everyone's using the word Olympia. And I think maybe they should police it. I think they should say that if you're going to use the actual name, we need to approve it. It should be an element of approval, registration, and just not thrown on your IG account that you're an Olympian.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's no way to police it. I get why people say, well, I competed at the Olympia. I am an Olympian now, right? And so they put it on their profile. And I guess, to me, more talk of the Olympia from a branding perspective is good. So if you have a bunch of these pros putting it on their IG, saying I'm a 2-time Olympia competitor, it's good if I'm the owner of the Olympia, I want that. I want them to be pushing that. So I wouldn't police that. But yeah, people will put IFBB Pro on their IG and they don't compete. They get the pro card and that's what they use to get their clients for coaching. So that's where I think it's getting misused, is the IFBB Pro status. And I don't know if they've changed it now where if you turn pro, you have to compete or be active or something. But I would hope that there would be some type of criteria where if you get your pro card, you got to compete every year. If you don't compete every year, you're going to lose your pro card.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you're going to lose your status to compete in the future. right? And you're going to have to go back down to the amateur rank. Wouldn't the pressure be on?
Oh yeah.
There you'd have a lot more athletes competing, right? And it would just make it like they're not really thinking. They're not innovative there at the NPC. Unfortunately, I think they're just used to how. And I'm not trying to. The NPC does what it has to do, right? And I just think the people that are running it are not the best characters. And I'm telling you, I'm being your show. I'm going to be uncensored. What I see Tyler Mannion doing as the vice president of the NPC IPB Pro League, dating women that have actively competed, it sets a bad precedent for the judges sitting next to him at the table that he oversees. It sets a bad look to the athletes, saying, because they know what a conflict of interest means. And it gives other judges, maybe other judges will see that and be like, well, I'll go talk to her after the show. Maybe we'll get together, maybe right. Like it's a bad example when your leader, your vice president, is getting with these women and flaunting it on his Instagram profile. And it's a complete unprofessional way to conduct yourself. Don't eat where you shit. Don't do it.
But
he's doing it.
Yeah, but can I just say
it's bad. It's bad look. Any other organization, they would not you could not get away with that. But here, NPC, anything goes.
But can I just say, in a sense, what I'll look at it like this: and please, we'll be open about it. How can you stop romance? Like, what happens if you are working in a business or a company, you are the CEO, and one of your employees happen to be she's charming, you find her attractive. I mean, can you not talk to her? Can you not date her? Can you not? So what I mean is he's displaying who he's with, but I'm just asking that question.
It's your work. What do you do at the office?
You work, but what I mean, you can't help attraction or romance. Would
you, as an employee, you think about the competitors as employees of the league, of course. Of the NPC.
Yeah.
And are you, as an office admin in an office, going to go start dating the vice president of that company?
Well, what happens if, let's just say, I was in...
Where's HR? HR, where are you at? I don't think we can... It's not protocol here. It's not going to happen. I'm sorry. It's the same fucking thing. It's the same thing.
Yeah, no, I hear you. But what happens if... what happens if I'm the IT guy? Like, I was an IT guy. I'm working away, and the CEO, who's on a lot of money, she's gorgeous, and she says to me, "Hey, would you like to go for a drink?" What do I say to her? I'd say, "Yeah, let's go for a drink."
It's not you. It's you. You as the employee. That's it's not your company. But when you, as the CEO, should have the more compass to be like, "Yeah, I'm not going to date my staff. It's not going to be a good example for all the other employees. That's going to see that certain member of our company is going to get some privileges now. You're dating the vice president. It's a bad example. You don't do it. You're a CEO. You're a vice president. Go find women elsewhere, man. Don't do it inside the office.
Well, like you said,
it's not going to end well now.
Like you said, this is raw, and I want to be able to look. Because I love debates. I love discussions. Look, I don't know where love stops, and I don't know exactly where it's at. But I know that sometimes it's impossible if you're falling for someone, or you're attracted to someone, or you love someone. But I hear your point, because some people get to a certain level. But like I said, sometimes things happen. It's inevitable, as long as it's respectful. But I hear your point, but I want to go back for a second, because I don't want to. So I agree that the Olympia is the Super Bowl. That's one. Two, I agree with you that it should be a spectacle and entertainment platform. And three, I think this is my opinion, not that but Dana White is definitely someone I look at, and how I've profiled a little bit this podcast. So what I've done with this podcast, which is kind of what Dana White does, is you don't even know the fighters, but Dana White makes you believe the fighters are incredible. So Dana White does so much pre-competition media. He is banging a drum weeks out, and he's telling you about fighters you've never heard of, but the way he speaks about them, you go like, I've got to watch this fight. So Dana White is pumping the marketing by talking, because he knows it's only as good as the tickets sold prior to the fight. Once the fight happens, there's no tickets being sold. Like that's it. And if you notice, post fight, Dana White does one conference, opens up about the figures, and doesn't do anymore because that's done. So if you look at Dana White's model and creating UFC, he's probably a template we all need to look at in saying, even the guests I get on, no one knows them, but because I do a pre who's going to be in the chair, I make people feel a little bit excited that they must be important. But the last thing I'll say, and I want you then to go over what I just said, the last thing I'll say is, I'm going to give you a few names and you tell me who's more important. Is Elon Musk bigger than Tesla in the social media world?
Yes.
All right. Is Jeff Bezos bigger than Amazon in the social media world?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so is Mark Zuckerberg, and so is Dana White. I think I think, like you said, I think he needs to build that personal brand of ownership of the Olympia. And like you said, he needs to become the face or the spokesman of the Olympia because he's the owner, just like Dana White. And also he needs to showcase the bodybuilders, like you said, coming up to the Olympia. We need to see stats. We need to see profiles. And also the Olympia, maybe get a rock band in, maybe get someone in and also pull celebrities in. And when you pull celebrities in, get the cameras on them.
Yeah. So they have done the celebrity thing. They've had Shaquille O'Neal and Triple H.
Has that worked?
They do a little, Mark Wahlberg, like they do a little bit of the celebrity thing.
Okay.
But yeah, like I said earlier, like you need to do profiles of these athletes.
That's why I was going with what you said. Yeah.
Yeah, leading up to the show and highlight them and get to know their personal story. People want to connect. That's how you're going to get your fan base, is with the connection, the personal story, who these people are, these men and women that, sacrifice so much time to get ready for the Olympia and build up to the Olympia. And then this makes it more exciting when you come to watch it. And another thing too that's wrong with the Olympia, there's too many athletes. Yeah. There's too many people competing.
It's a long one.
Right? This is the elite. You don't need to have 40, 50 people in a class. I don't care who the fuck 40th place is. No one in the audience doesn't fucking care what fourth call it is, guys. Stop. Yeah. Like, just do what the Arnold is doing. They know what they're doing at the Arnold. That's how you do it. 12 people in the fucking lineup, women and men, women's figure, physique, 12 girls, bikini, 12 elite, best of the best women. That's it. That's all you get to see.
Yeah.
And you're going to get a show because they're the best in the world. Yeah. I don't care what 29th looks like. What the hell am I comparing to at that point? Do we really want to waste time? We really want to pay that much money to see 29th and 47th place at the Olympia?
When did it become so big?
When are they going to figure out that's boring?
When did it become so big like that? It never used to be like that.
It's money. It's qualifications. Yeah, okay. Yeah. More pro shows is more sanctioned fees for the Mannion family. Yeah. So they kept getting more and more. And you get a show, you get a show, you get a show. Yeah. There's a sanction fee, another sanction fee. There's a sanction fee. 10,000 here, 10,000 there. Every time a pro, each division, there's a sanction fee on it. So of course it's a money-making business, and that's what they're doing. So now you have to have, we had all these pro shows. Now we have all these athletes qualified. I get it. Yeah. But you have to structure it where not everyone, you're going to have this many pro shows. Only a certain amount of athletes can still qualify for the Olympia. Yeah. And they have to sit down at the table, crunch the numbers, and figure out the strategy and figure it the fuck out. But right now they're just going with the status quo. What's easy? Just who cares? I don't want to think too much. I just want to get to the year again and do these shows and do what we always do. They don't want to try and think outside the box. And they hear us complaining. They hear the media complaining. Even Bob, everyone, he complains about the show and the length, right? But the Mannions, at the end of the day, they're the ones, right? And Jake Wood and Dan Solomon, right? It's Tyler, it's Jim, it's Dan, and it's Jake. It's 4 people that run the entire thing. Think about it for a second. Yeah. Right. And those are the 4 people that need to sit down and strategize how to improve the sport and take it out of the stalemate that it's in right now.
Hey guys, Nutrition Warehouse, your #1 store for all your supplement needs. Visit in-store here in Australia or New Zealand, or go to nutritionwarehouse.com.au, or for our New Zealanders, go to nutritionwarehouse.co.nz, shop away, and at checkout, why not use discount code MTP15 to get 15% off all your orders. Hey guys, just want to thank one of our major sponsors, Alka Power Water, as I cradle their 10-litre box here. alkapower.com.au. Go check them out. They're in your major retail stores, supermarkets, and please get yourself alkalined with Australia's #1 alkaline water, Alka Power. alkapower.com.au. Go check them out now. Hey guys, Steve here. Muscle Talks podcast. Just a quick shout out to one of our amazing sponsors, Macro Foodz. You know how I feel about food. Food is very important to me. Macrofoods.com.au. Go check them out. And to get that little bit more off the price, use code MTP10 to get 10% off all your orders. I think that I can understand, as we are all businessmen, or as businessmen, you want to make money and revenue. Maybe they are, maybe that's how they know it. But you're right. I think there's a way to trim it, but find it elsewhere. Maybe getting more sponsors involved where that's where the money comes in, but also learning to, or getting more people to come through the door and buying tickets. You know what I mean? Whatever it is, there's a way to find it to balance the books. If not, make more money. I don't know. I mean, that's what you want the business to be. It's to be making money. It's to be profitable and to be sharing it around with athletes, prize money, everything that's there. But like I said, I understand it's business and it's making money. But yeah, maybe like you said, 40th person, I think you've tired it out. You kind of get tired. It's tired. It's getting tired. You know what I mean?
This is the elite. Like this is the
elite. I know. Yeah.
Right. People must wonder that are new to the sport, and their family gets invited to come watch the Olympia for the first time. And they're like, okay, like there was the first call out. I understand that. And then now we're in like the fourth call out. And I'm like, where are we? I don't know. I don't remember who was at the first call. Like, what is this? You got to think from an audience perspective, how it looks. And they're just thinking, this is bodybuilding. This is what we do. Here's the third, fourth call out. This is what we do. And as they're not thinking like, we can limit this. We're in control. We can limit how many people are on the stage. Mm-hmm. We can make it that much more elite, that much harder for the best in the world to come compete here. Right. And they're not doing that. And it's a missed opportunity. So,
all right. Again,
they can hire me. I can be the consultant, and they can pay me, and then I'll fix everything. But if they don't want to do it, that's fine.
Well, look, it just shows that you are passionate about it and you care about it. And I guess at the end of the day, that's what it's about. I don't think it's about, no one's being personal. We're talking about business. And I guess we have people in other companies, or how we run businesses, and not everyone. Look, I'm not saying it's an amazing beast. I mean, the Wider family created this, built this monster, and the way it's become. But I saw also the guys back in the 90s, especially the 90s, bit of the 80s. There was such a Grand Prix. If I wrote down where Chris Cormier competed, it's astonishing. It's about a 2-page printout. It's a 2-page printout about even Milosh and everybody. I mean, if you look at the Grand Prix they did, not only that, the Grand Prix around the world, Amsterdam, Holland, mate, Australia, like these guys were getting on planes, and it was just this, like, it was like a Formula One. You just said, all right, so-and-so's in this country competing. Some beat Ronnie Coleman at a different comp. Someone beat so-and-so. Obviously, Olympia was the Olympia, but it was an amazing time where they were so in people's faces.
They're not taking advantage of the digital media, social media side of things at the Olympia.
Yeah.
And even the NPC. You have, if there were only 12 athletes in each division max.
Yeah.
Okay. Then okay, we got this many, we got 12 divisions, so we're going to have this many people. So we're going to hire a camera crew. We are going to have Olympia TV, YouTube. We're going to go to each play. We're going to go to, maybe 4 or 5 of the top athletes in each division and do a feature on them. And we're going to go to their home. We're going to see them training, right? And we're going to get a background story of what they've been through and how they made it to Olympia, and look at what it's done for their lifestyle and who they used to be, on the street, or they used to be, working at Target. Now look, they're at the Olympia, and they've changed their lives because of their lifestyle, and they're working out, and they're healthy, and they're training. Look what it did for me.
Go to their state, go to their country, whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you see them with the family, and you see them in their backyard and they're barbecuing or whatever. And people that are 18 to 25 or that are new to the sport, they're watching this. But it's pretty cool. Like maybe I could do this. Right? And so it builds the backstory, and people can relate to it. And then you see what they're doing with Tarek in Olympia TV, and that's boring. And it's not getting any views. It's not, people aren't watching Olympia TV. They do a live stream and there's 30, 40 people watching. And I do a live stream and there's 150, 200 people watching. Because it's not, I guess I'm interesting to watch, but they're not, they don't know what they're doing. They're just, you have Jake Wood that pays for the set in Arizona or wherever that is. And they go there and they try and they spend all this money, but they're not, it's still like an old format of what they're doing. It's not modernized. They need to get on the ground. It can make money you have all these Instagram clips you would have with these athletes. You do a lot more. And the way they do the train with the Olympians, that's completely wrong the way they're doing it. It's, they just film 3 guys working out and they don't do any in-depth sit down with those athletes. And okay, guys, it's what do they call it? Battle for the Olympia or whatever. Train with the Olympians. And you had Derek and Samson and Brandon or whoever it was. And it just got them to work out on live YouTube. And it was kind of boring. And they were kind of talking a little bit. And that was it. But sit down with the guys. You have them there. Sit down and have more conversation with these athletes. Instead of just making bodybuilders to be like these meatheads that can't talk or can't conversate with people. And it's just like, I don't know. It's so, that's why I come from, I don't know if you can tell, I come from a marketing background. So I have so many ideas of how to leverage what we have in the sport, but the people at the top aren't doing that. I think they're just getting a salary and they're just doing the bare minimum and they get away with it for 5 years like Dan Solomon has. So I don't know.
Well,
if you had someone like you, Dad has been in the bodybuilding for a long time. He has passion for the sport, but it's not translating into the end product. And it's just I see him, I know what he's doing. He's doing the bare minimum. He might be busy throughout the year getting ready for the Olympia. I'm sure he is, but he's not focusing on the marketing and branding of the Olympia and its athletes. He'll do like 1 or 2 athlete features, maybe, and that's it. Like there's not a strategy. There's not a campaign. There's not a marketing campaign, right? And they need to think like that. And they're not. It's obvious.
I think maybe that, I don't know. Like I said, I'm looking back in the past. When I was talking to Monica Brandt, or I had her on the podcast, Monica Brandt, but she was saying how she was the star, right? So meant she was the star and she was taken care of. In other words, there were true sponsors. There were people that were passionate with the camera. There was people passionate in the editing. There was people passionate about whatever was going on. All she needed to do was turn up and do what people wanted her to do, and everybody was invested. I think that's the thing. You got to get the right investors in, meaning not investors in money. People invested that the camera guy, the editing guy, everybody wants their name shown as well as being the best of the best for the sport it was. And that's kind of what it was possibly back then for bodybuilding. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It was way more. Remember it was like on ESPN, it was on NBC, and there was news sportscasters backstage at these bodybuilding shows, and they had like a suit on, and it was way better. It was like, this was in the 90s, and it was like better than it is now. But also what they were doing was, like I said, they were specific camera guys, and they were so in tune and invested that they were the ones they chose because they would deliver the goods. So they would be featured in the magazine. Like the talk that was on the magazine was, wow, I just got Photoshop. I got filmed by so-and-so. Oh my God, he was the editor to the story. So all that meant a lot to having the athlete showcase, but behind the scenes, there was some superstars putting it together as well. Yeah, it was just, you had the famous photographers that did these shoots with these top athletes, and it was cool to work with Per Bernal or whoever, Jason Breeze. I've worked with both of those guys, and it's like, to be featured. Now, obviously, print is dead and it's all digital, and we don't have photographers like that anymore to do what they used to do. We don't need it necessarily, I guess. So now you have social media, and that's what I was talking about, like the digital aspect of the Olympia that needs to be leveraged here on this social media world we live in, this TikTok world we live in, and they're not doing it. They're not. There should be an Olympia series. There should be, all these different spotlights and showcases, and you could have like this. I'm giving too many ideas. I'm going to stop. Right, I'm not going to give the ideas out because they're not. Yeah, there's just so much that's being missed. It could make the sport a lot more exciting. And they don't have someone passionate. I'm passionate. I could come up with this stuff, and I sit down at a boardroom table and be, okay, this is what we're going to do. Here's our 6-month strategy. This is where we're going to go here, here, and here. We're going to showcase this person, this person, this person. Here's the done. I could do it, but they got Dan Solomon doing it. So,
well, let's look at, because of your criteria outside of the stage, besides we won't talk too much about just the real estate because, we will, but I wanted to say that you relocated to Vancouver after you were recruited by the marketing department at Mutant, right? Where you spent the next decade helping build one of the most recognizable brands in the industry. So like I said, because you're talking about marketing, you're talking about media, you're talking about growth, you're talking about business, and you're talking about influence. So, and brand. So during your time at Mutant, you traveled the world, worked with top professional bodybuilders, managed and worked closely with Rich Piana. And then you oversaw everything from trade shows, logistics, global supplements, ad creativity, commercial production, and social media strategy. You also launched and grew Mutant's YouTube, Instagram presence from the ground up. So tell us about that, and also tell us about Rich Piana, because he was a huge figure.
Yeah. So I was recruited over to where I am now, Vancouver, and to work for Mutant and in the marketing department. And I was a young bodybuilder at the time, and I had just won Canadian Nationals in 2010. And they're like, hey, we need someone that's a bodybuilder to kind of help with the marketing team over here. So and I was already sponsored. It was called PBL. And I was already sponsored, and that the owner, Jim McMahon, sorry, getting the Manions in my head. Jim McMahon, my old boss, was at the show, and he handed me the trophy when I won Canadian Nationals because he was sponsoring the show. And so I was already a sponsored athlete, so I kind of knew him, and that's how we were connected. And I came over to Vancouver and started working for Mutant. And for the next 10 years, I, was running the social media. I was doing the ad campaigns and strategy and finding athletes to bring on and sponsor. And I remember there's Martin Kellstrom. He was this crazy beast, 300 pounds, Mutant from Sweden. I remember we brought him on, and he was all over the magazines and ads and stuff. And I was the athletes coordinator as well. So again, I worked closely with the athletes, and then we brought on Rich Piana. And we brought him over to the Mutant headquarters, and that's where I met him for the first time, and he signed the contract, and we went for a workout after for the first time, and the rest is history with Rich. I traveled the world with him, and we did these Mutant mansions episode. We ran on a mansion in LA or wherever, in Denver. We did one, and Rich was there, and then Johnny Jackson was there, and Manuel Romero, and it was Dusty Hanshaw, and Ron Parlow was obviously there too. And we would film, get the story of background of these athletes, personable, in a home, working together, cooking together, training together. And that's where we were innovative at Mutant and doing things other people and other companies didn't. And, I think at that time we went from like a 20 million a year company to 100 million during that tenure I was there. And it was like, or even beyond that, I think by the time I left, well beyond that, probably by the time I left. But, and it's not just me, there's the whole marketing team there, but I was there at the kind of the front of it too, with, there was Ryan Keller, and then Ron was there with me for some years. And I was the one that actually, pushed him to kind of get Ron Partlow on board. I was scouting people, and he was in Alberta, and we needed to kind of build the brand in Alberta. And Ron was one of the popular amateurs over there. And so I contacted him, and we saw him at a show backstage. And I was like, let's bring this guy on. And the rest, now look at Ron. He's all over. He's still with Mutant. He's still there. So, I have an integral part in that, and a lot of things with Mutant and the history there. And I still with them. I still get the products, and I talk to Jim all the time. And he's a mentor to me for sure. He's like almost like a father figure to me. And so and again, I get to travel the world, and I had to put on the booths and the Body Power and FIBO and behind the scenes, setting all that up, and and doing commercial shoots and having $40,000-$50,000 budgets and being in charge of that and getting all the different assets in place for the photo shoots and doing these crazy shoots with Johnny Jackson and Denver and all over the place. And so people wonder like, what's my pedigree? And Bob's like, whoa, who's this Matt guy in Canada? I'm like, yeah, well, I do have a background. I do have experience in this. I have done every single aspect of bodybuilding you could imagine. I've done it. Supplement industry, the back end industry, the athlete coordination, working closely with pro athletes. I've run and promoted my own bodybuilding events in the IFBB as well.
All right. Tell us about that.
So I did regional shows here in BC, right? You had the Vancouver Championship, we had the Kelowna Classic, and then we had the International Qualifier, the IFBB International Qualifier, promoted that. And I had a business partner back then, David Ford. We ran those shows together, spent my own money, got the venue, did the volunteers, the athletes, the registration, all that. I did all that. So I think I have some experience in this from every standpoint of bodybuilding that you can imagine. I've done it. I've actually done it. So, and compete and do well as well. Right? So, Bob can run his mouth and try and put a narrative out there about me that I don't know what I'm doing. I have no pedigree and I have no experience and blah, blah, blah. That's, is what it is.
Yeah. Now, well, I guess maybe, like I said, they'll be sitting, listening to this and finding out more, but tell us about, what was Rick Piana like in off the camera, and he was quite the figure. I remember him, and obviously the 5%, and to me the 5% means like it's quite significant number to everything in life. 5% is pretty much the success of everything in business, in personal development, bodybuilding, in anything, thinking and relationships. Like it's the 5% that makes it. So how did it all come about? How did this 5% come about? I mean, not to say that you were part of it just for that, but just with him, working with him and experiencing a relationship there. I'm sure that worked for both of you.
Yeah, no, Rich. So I was in charge of planning his schedule and, setting up. And then I also had to run the social media for him. Yeah. So, and all the posts that went out about Rich, I had to do the captions and figure out what photo I was going to use. And because I was in charge of the photo shoots, a lot of the famous photo shoots, Alex Ardenti, I was there behind the scenes directing, okay, get this shot of Rich, get this angle. We're going to do this, that was me. That was my thought process of getting the image of this super mutant that we came up with, that we coined that term super mutant to get that out there to the public to help grow the brand. And boy, did it work, right? And not just me, there's Ryan Keller, there's a whole bunch of team that's involved with this. But that's what I did. And working with him, he's the same way he was on camera, off camera, the same personality. Nice guy. You could tell some people are like an asshole or a douchebag or anything like that. He's just like a nice dude. He would talk to you about anything. No, so I can't say anything bad about Rich Piana. Good experience with him, traveling with him, training with him. I remember when we went to the Arnold Classic, and then we went to the gym to train before going to the booth. Yeah, and it was like him and like Ronaldo Gary, and it was like Ron, and I was filming them, and with my iPhone or my camera, my cell phone, whatever camera that I had. And I post these clips on YouTube, and they would get 1 million, they get 2 million views of Rich, because I knew how to film him with the right angle so his arm would look massive. And I put that in the thumbnail. I know that arm is going to get a lot of clicks if I post. So that's how I would think when I'm like filming these guys and getting the right angle. with Rich, and his arms were just ridiculous size, 24 inches.
Yeah.
And he was strong too, even though there was a lot of PMMA in there and stuff like that. He had some strength behind that as well. But nice guy, it's sad that he had, he's gone.
What happened there exactly? Is it just went too far?
I don't know. I don't know if it was drug related. He was taking different things and doing insulin and doing different drugs and recreational drugs and then all the other stuff that was in his body, the oil and all the stuff he injected into himself, and he was taking a lot of different. So it's just probably a concoction of things that his heart just couldn't do it anymore, and then he just dropped on the floor, and that was it. And his girlfriend was there, and luckily, but that was too late, and now he's gone. So
it's shocking. Shocking.
That's usually how it works. The best ones leave us early.
I think let's go with this. I think you had it up on your stories, and I think you had, and we're going to also talk about Flex Wheeler, but Flex Wheeler was talking about athletes, not as well in bodybuilding, but in other sports that are dropping dead for some reason. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I'm not in America to hear this and see this, but what's going on there? Because you put it up on your stories, and it was Flex Wheeler with Nagaya. They were having a chat on their podcast, and they're talking about the risks people are taking now. Yeah,
I mean, you have to think too. Okay, 56 bodybuilders die in a year. Now, is that you got to look at the stats? Like, people die every day, and that are just average people that die. A lot, so it's like, okay, that die from heart attack or cardiovascular disease or whatever. So it's like, are we just picking and pointing out the small demographic of people that are dying out of 4 million bodybuilders around the world, and there's only 56 that die? So it's like, is it a big stat? I don't know. Like, people, we really have to look into the numbers, but it gets a lot of attention when bodybuilders die, and so we think, oh my God, all these bodybuilders are dying, and when it's just natural cause. It's just natural progression, right? We don't know. So, but regardless, bodybuilders are dying, and it's not a good look. And if you take a lot of drugs, it's going to be hard on your heart. It's going to be hard on your system. It's going to be hard on your kidneys and your liver. And eventually it's going to add up, and people abuse drugs or they have predispositions to certain things that may not react well with taking drugs. And that could increase or speed up the rate at which they're going to die from it. So, it's just a whole bunch of factors, or there's other things they could be taking. We don't know. So it's hard to just say, oh, they died because they were a bodybuilder. Right? I don't want to, put out that bodybuilding is a terrible sport. It's unhealthy. If you get your blood work done and, take care of yourself, Jay Cutler, he juiced to the gills for years. He's one of the healthiest looking dudes I've seen. He is one of the healthiest dudes. Right. Yeah. So it just depends on the person, how they take care of themselves. Look at Lee Haney. He's still kicking around, looking good.
He looks amazing.
Yeah. Right. So, it is what it is. You have to take care of yourself. If you don't, you're going to die. And if you abuse anything, you're going to die.
You're going to have to change your habits a bit. You're going to have to
take care of yourself, regardless of what you do.
Okay. So before I go into your competitions, when did you take up bodybuilding? When did you fall in love? When did you pick up some weights?
So I got into, like I think a lot of guys do this. I was playing football in high school. I got injured. I broke my ankle. Coach said, hey, you can't practice. So when you get a chance, get back in the gym and just kind of recover in the gym. And before that, I wasn't really even going to the gym. I was just playing football in high school. And so I started doing that, and I started responding well at the gym in high school. And I was like, man, I was starting to get a pump, and I was starting to get my arms were getting vascular and stuff, just naturally training. And so, I just stuck with that. And then I went from the high school gym to a local gym in Saskatoon called Ironworks. And the owner, Pat, who I think he's still there, which is crazy, saw me and was like, man, you should do a show. Like, what the hell are you doing? I'm like, oh, I don't know. What are you talking about? Bodybuilding show? So I didn't know what it was. And then that's when I started competing. And then I did some local show. Well, I actually did Muscle Mania shows first.
Yeah, you're right. That started with Muscle Mania in 2005. Is that right? You began competing in 2025?
2005.
2005. Yeah.
And so I did the Muscle Mania thing for a little bit, and then I transitioned over to like the CBBF, Canadian Bodybuilding Federation.
That's right. Yep.
Part, which is like the NPC, and
yep.
But yeah, over here, and did that. Did the local regional shows. I won those my first time around, and then I won the Mr. Saskatchewan, whatever, which qualifies you for the Canadian Nationals. And then the first time I did Canadian Nationals, I won my show, which is, it's hard because back then it was stacked lineups. I think there was like 20, 25 guys in my class. And it's a deep lineup, best from across Canada were competing there. And I managed to win. My first run at Nationals. And then I did Nationals some years after that. I kind of missed, I would go back and forth, and I missed a year, and I came back, and then I kind of was like, okay, I'm done with this. But then Classic Physique was announced in 2016. That was the first year it was announced. Yeah. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to try this Classic Physique. So I did Classic Physique, and I won Classic Physique. But in Canada, you have to win the overall in order to get your pro card out of all the different classes. So I didn't win the overall. Some huge dude won it. And I didn't agree with that outcome. So I'm like, you know what, at this point, I've done what I can do at the national level here. I'm not going to keep pushing my body for this. I'm not going to do what Bob did for 13 years and do nationals until I'm not going to be one of those guys. Bob is one of those guys.
Poor Bob. No, Bob's fine, man. But a lot of people do a lot of shows, man. A lot of people keep competing.
Yeah, man. Those are lifers, man. They're there.
What about, what's his name? I forgot the name now. I've gone blank. He's won an Olympia, but he's like the most competitive bodybuilder ever. How many Olympias he's, God, what's his name? He won, he beat Jay Cutler that 1 year. Jay Cutler won 2 Olympias, and then it was, what's his name? I can't get the name right now.
Oh, Dexter?
Dexter Jackson. I mean, he's a seasoned professional. Like, God's sake.
Yeah. No, yeah. And so I was like, I'm done here. And then, I just kind of retired from competing at that point. That was 2016. And then I was still at Mutant then, and I was there for till 2019 at Mutant. And then I started my meal prep business.
Yes.
Well, I started my meal prep business in 2018.
Yep. While
I was still working at Mutant, and then it got busy, and I was like, okay, I guess I can do this full time, and I stopped working at Mutant and just did my meal prep business full time. So, yeah.
And you also were involved in property.
Yes, yeah. So I had a real estate business called Above and Beyond Realty Services.
Yep.
In Saskatoon. And we'd flip properties.
Yep.
We buy a house, renovate it, sell it. And then we ended up flipping apartment blocks where we buy like a 20 unit apartment building, renovate it, convert it into condos. It's called a condo conversion.
Yep.
And sell each unit, right? Like that. So I did that. And then the big Great Recession came.
Yes.
And in 2009, right? That's right when I'm about, right? So that's how it all lines up. And it's like, okay, well, this is working really well here. Like it was crazy how bad it was.
Yeah.
In real estate. And so luckily they gave me an opportunity, flew me down to Vancouver and showed me the headquarters and like, hey, you want to work here? You get to work bodybuilding. You're a bodybuilder. I'm like, okay. Yeah. And so I did it. And I was living in a small city and then coming to Vancouver, it's like the mountains and it's a nice vibe. And like,
yeah.
Good views of the mountains. Okay. I'll come back. So I'll give it a shot. And so, it was good. And then I got to be like a kid in the candy store and work with bodybuilders and pro bodybuilders and have dinner with Jay Cutler and travel and, behind the scenes, and couldn't get any better. And so here I am now. And then I got my cream of rice business as well.
Yeah. How long have you been doing that for?
So this started maybe March of 2025. I launched this. So it's a brand new. It's Amazon picked it up and loves it. Now it's fulfilled by Amazon in Canada. And now next phase is kind of pushing it into the US market. Got to get everything set up there first. It takes a little bit to get into the the FDA regulations, all that stuff. So we're working on that. And yeah, it's good. It's a great product. Amazon loves it. They keep asking for it. So I'm happy with that. And yeah, I mean, it's not that old of a company, but it's definitely growing, and we got some big plans for it in the future as well. So that's taken off. So I'm happy about that.
It sounds amazing. So you said you sat and worked or hung out with Jay Cutler. What's he like?
Jay's cool. Jay's very like, hey man, like, you know, like that guy over there, like his voice, he's just and he's a jokester. Always cracking jokes.
Really?
Right? Making fun. Yeah. So, yeah, really nice guy too. Jay, who else? There's so many people. I've met Lee Haney, Ronnie, Dexter. Who else? I spent a lot of time with Johnny Jackson.
Really?
He was with Mutant. Yeah. And nice guy too. Funny, jokester too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I wanna. You had a story up, and you said, and the story said, not you. It was in general conversation. Patrick, Bet David, everybody talking, like it just said, Flex Wheeler. Do you think he had the best ever body that hit the stage? That was, who was talking? Who was the voice? I think it was it Jay Cutler talking about Jay. Yeah, Jay. Yeah. And everyone said yes, seemed to agree. What was it about what was it about the Sultan of Symmetry? Now, I also want to talk that I'm not trying to compare him against Ronnie Coleman. I mean, Ronnie Coleman is praised and recognized, and he's constantly, you know, looked upon as the best of the best. But what is it about people still mentioning that Flex Wheeler was probably had, you know, the best ever body that hit the stage?
Yeah, I would agree. I think from a genetic perspective, Flex Wheeler was the best bodybuilder ever to grace a pro stage. You know, and I know Ronnie, people say, well, maybe Ronnie is, but I think Ronnie is someone that had probably the best genetics and was able to like take advantage of it.
Exploit him.
Yeah. And took it to its full potential, where Flex, if he would have trained like, not maybe trained like heavy but just went all out like Ronnie did with his training, that he could have brought that type of conditioning and muscularity. He had the muscularity, but I'm just saying, like, he could have, maybe Flex went to 70% and Ronnie went to fucking 110%, and the rest is history with Ronnie.
Yeah.
Right. So I think if that were to compare the two, and if Flex did 100% training and Ronnie did 100%, I think Flex would beat Ronnie because he's just that much more genetically gifted than even Ronnie, in a sense. With the symmetry and the pretty lines compared to Ronnie, he edges Ronnie out that way.
Yeah. I agree. Flex was a freak. I mean, that's why they call him the Sultan of Symmetry. All right. Also on your stories, you had, can Nick, or it was actually, I don't think it was on your story. I think it was a post you did, a reel. Can Nick Walker beat Martin, is it Fitzwater?
Yeah, Martin Fitzwater. At the Arnolds, and a few of you said that a very on Nick Walker is hard to beat. Is that, yeah, what are you thinking? Yeah. You know, Nick, people think I'm hard on Nick. I'm hard on Nick because of his waistline. Okay. That's his Achilles heel.
Yeah.
If he can improve that and control his midsection and be a professional on stage, as you should be at all times, and not let the gut hang out, Nick, then you can do well. You've proven yourself that you can do well.
Yeah.
And can he beat Martin? Yeah, he can beat Martin. He's beaten Martin before. So it's going to be a definite battle between the two of those guys at the Arnold. I look forward to seeing that. But you know, he's got to just watch that midsection. Just keep it under control. Do the vacuum work, Nick.
How does he fix it? Yeah, that's what he needs to do. Breathing. He's got to change something.
Breathing work. He's got to do vacuum work. And he says he's doing vacuum work. He should be wearing a waist trainer, and so it's wrapped around his waist all day, and walking around the house with that. So he gets used to, his body also starts to adapt to that, and it just wants to be tight. It wants to be, but whether he's doing that or not, I don't know. I'm not sure he can make his waist smaller.
That's what I mean. I don't know if you can. I think you're going to have to do the illusion.
His width of his waist is what it is. Yeah. It's built muscle there. It's the wall of muscle.
Yeah.
So he can't make it. It's not going to look smaller. The only thing is he can do is suck his stomach in as much as possible and hold that while he's on stage and pray that it doesn't slip. And
true.
That's it. He doesn't get gassed. If Steve starts gassing them round after round, then it's going to start to slip. And the other person that's close is going to get the nod. And that's what happened at the Pittsburgh Pro, where he let his stomach slip and they gave it to Derek. So when Nick probably could have won that one.
All right, let's talk about muscle discord. Okay, now I can sit here and assume what it is. I can sit here and guess what it is, and I can whatever, everyone can. But tell us about the channel. What inspired you to create this channel? What message are you truly sending, advocating for? And did I say telling? Telling again. Yeah, tell us about Muscle Discord.
Well, Muscle Discord is just a place where we can have an open discussion about bodybuilding, about, the process of bodybuilding, behind the scenes bodybuilding, an in-depth look into the athletes, who they are, the shows, reviews of the shows, feature content, topics. I do hot takes, interviews, obviously, and just having, like anyone has a podcast, but it's like, what experience can I bring to it? And when I do interviews, or when I do review of a show, or have a hot take or have an opinion on certain things, I can bring my perspective to it. And I want to be known for just telling it like I see it, and not being afraid of the power that be, having any recourse against me. Right. And there's a lot of, I'm not saying you have me on the show, so you don't give a shit, but there's a lot of people out there that, don't want to associate because they're afraid that, if we work with Matt, the Manions don't like him, it's not going to be, I can't be involved. I'm completely against that mentality.
I think
you only have one life to live.
Yeah, it's a bit unfair.
I ain't going to live it for the Manions. I'm not going to live it for this person or that person. I'm going to live it for me. And Bob and Dave, they're doing that right now, and it's unfortunate. And I can see right through it. And it's funny.
But you'd have those guys on any day of the week. You'd tell them to come on.
I've had Bob on my show before. I've been on. Dave was nice enough to invite me on his show. We did an hour-long fucking back and forth, and it was pretty good. We didn't get at each other or anything. It was pretty good. So I kudos to Dave for doing that. He was going at me about the ChatGPT. Right. And I was like, okay, awesome. Yeah, let's go at it.
All right. What's going on with ChatGPT? Do you have a love affair with ChatGPT? Tell me about this. Come on, ChatGPT can play games sometimes, man. Sometimes I've said to ChatGPT, can you not fucking put dashes in? And you see ChatGPT say, oh, so sorry. And then fucking 5 days later, the dashes are back. I said, I'm having an argument with the computer now. It's testing me.
You gotta prompt it. ChatGPT.
Yeah.
People can make fun of it and make fun of AI, but it's going to be making fun of you in 5 years. So
it's going to make fun of me for sure.
So
but what is it about ChatGPT right now? Yeah, tell me.
Because it's a way to enhance what the judges can do. Right? It's what the Olympics already do.
So they should use it. They should utilize it.
Yes, in certain aspects. I'm not saying there should just be no judges, no human judges, and you just have a laptop on a table and that it's just watching and report. No, it can't. Maybe in 15 years, potentially could do that, but not right now. But in the future, I think there should be a hybrid system where, like the Olympics, they have a camera system watching the figure skaters do their routines, and when they do a triple axel or whatever, there could be 3 or 4 spins in there in a certain style, and the human eye can. Well, I saw 2 spins. I'm going to jot them down 5 out of 5, okay, or whatever, 3 out of 4 because they only got 4 spins. And ChatGPT is like, no, there was actually 4 fucking spins there. Your fucking lazy human eye didn't catch that 3rd, 4th spin. That's where the technicality of ChatGPT can be better than the human eye and see those things. You can see the symmetry. Okay, this pec is 14 inches and this one's 14 inches. There's the asymmetry. It can look at everything like that with the human eye can't see. Who is truly the most symmetrical body on the stage? ChatGPT will be able to determine that for us. But ChatGPT has been very good in its assessment of these shows. So good that when I'm doing a live stream and I take the screenshots, and these are screenshots, and I put it in to ChatGPT before there's any results, before there's any internet chatter, and I say, who's the winner between these two people? Right now, everyone's, I wonder who it's going to be. Here's the prejudging, and what is it? ChatGPT got it right every time before the results were even done at the finals.
Wow. Okay.
I'm like, how does it, and it breaks it down for you. It says, okay, conditioning, this guy has sharper conditioning from the back and the lower lats and this and that, and more trapezius separation. And the midsection is sharper and tighter and flatter versus this competitor. And it knows it's AI. It can resolve complex math problems in 4 seconds. Like it knows what to do. It just knows how to break it down. And guys like Bob and Dave, obviously they don't want that in the sport. I get it. There's always going to be pushback when there's change. But you got to be open to the future and leverage the power of AI. And people love it. People are like, Matt, can you do this person versus this guy? I want to see this guy and this. Like, yeah, man. Okay, I'll do it. Like, they love it because they're like, finally, an unbiased opinion on bodybuilders. You don't have Steve, who's been there for 50 years. He has his favorites. He has his this and that. Yeah, he's a good judge. But dude's been around for a long fucking time and he has his ways. He has what he likes. He has his preferences. He's not going to be 100% unbiased. There's no way. Everything is political. There's a favoritism here. Oh, that guy fucking kind of chimed off after the show and he was kind of not agreeing with what I said. You're keeping that in the back of your head.
Yeah.
You're human. You're human. You're going to hold it against that guy a little bit. And it doesn't mean you're going to put a guy that should be second place in the 9th. You put a guy that should be second place into like 4th. Just to fucking dig him a little bit. Just because you can't really dispute that too much, right? You can get away with that as a judge. And that's what they do. So it is what it is. Judges are human. And
there's politics, unfortunately, and there's emotions. And like you said, ChatGPT doesn't have all that. What do you think about having past Olympians to be judges? What do you think about that? What do you think?
That would be a good idea.
Why wouldn't they bring, like half the panel, a third of the panel to be a true, like I said, the Jay Cutler there or Lee Haney in there, like invite them to be judges. I think it would help.
I think it would help, but I think even Jay has said, like, I couldn't be a judge, man. I couldn't do it, man. I don't know how they do that. It's tough. So it just depends on the person.
Well, there is but Olympians that would love the chance to sit there, even past Olympians. You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. Yeah. And then it's like judging is not easy. Okay. I respect the judges and the work that they have to do. And a lot of time the judges get it right. Yeah.
Right. It's a long day.
So there's a lot of times they get it right.
Oh yeah. I've never there's times where I don't disagree with that. That's who I thought was going to win. And the judges picked the same. Yeah. So it's not, and if it's not who I thought was going to win, I could see maybe why the judges picked this person and stuff. It's close. Right. But it's not easy being a judge. You sit there all day, right? And you got to look at all these hundreds of bodies and figure out minute details and bring this person back and go back around. So a lot of past Olympians wouldn't have the stamina to be like, I'm not used to doing this. Like they do it all the time, right? So it's like put someone in NASCAR and tell them to drive around the track and keep up. They can't do it. So say with a judge, you can't have Dexter at the Olympia sitting next to Steve and Dexter's like, oh, is that how we do it? Is it like they wouldn't know the rules and stuff.
I get it now.
Right? He could just eye it and pick it, but is he following the rule, like the protocol, like how the judge? I don't know.
Yeah, but they could be trained and they might want to do it.
Yeah, they have to probably do some type of like, before you come sit with us at the Olympia, Dexter, you got to come to this many shows and do this many things and sit as a test judge next to Steve. Or whoever.
Like a test judge. Yeah.
You can't just come one year and be like, Dexter's a judge. Yeah. No, they'd have to have some type of protocol before they get to that point.
Okay. Also, with what is a reel or a story on Muscle Discord that you are most proud of having discussed, possibly surprised you and its reach? I love the interview we did with Dorian Yates. Yep.
And his candor when I asked the question, and this one did go viral.
Yep.
When I asked, Dorian, if you were competing against Derek Lunsford, would you be worried about him?
that expression. We all know it now. Okay, that was you. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and then he paused and he laughed, right, which is crazy. And Chris Cormier was there, and he was laughing too. And yeah, he's like, no, I don't think I'd be too worried about that. And it's true. I wouldn't be worried if I was Yates. Yeah. And that's another thing why I was saying, bodybuilding is dead or it's dying, right? When you have guys like Dorian Yates laughing at the current champions, you have guys like Ronnie Coleman saying, I'd have no problem winning.
That's true, Ronnie Coleman.
I wouldn't even have to train that hard. Like, I'm sorry, guys. Yes, bodybuilding is dying when the past champions can easily, without hesitation, say, yes, I would fucking smoke this guy, pretty much is what they're saying. And so don't get mad at me when I say it's dying. The caliber of these athletes that are winning the Mr. Olympia is not there. It's not the same.
All right. So then you said about federations. What do the athletes need to do? What needs to change there with athletes? Like to say that if Ronnie Coleman can still take them on, if Dorian Yates speaks about them, I mean, are we going to, in 20 years' time, look at Derek Lunsford and say that was the greatest as well because we look back 20 years and look at Dorian? Or what's the problem right now? What is missing? Is it that, sorry, I'll just want to add this. Is it, is people using cheat notes, finding ways scientifically through manipulation to create bodies, and they're not just training naturally? Natural, I'm not talking about natural. I'm talking about naturally as hard as what these men did, what they left no stone unturned in the gym. They were literally, kind of just all out being, steroided. A lot of it was free weights. A lot of it was cables. A lot of it was dumbbells. A lot of it wasn't really machine and science-based. We didn't have, what I mean? What do you think? I just might.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think it has to do with the training. I think I don't think Derek Lunsford could hang with Dorian Yates in the gym and keep up and do the intensity of the training that Yates did year after year.
Chris Cormier couldn't for that little while there.
Yeah, Chris, he was puking. And then same with Derek was training with Ronnie Coleman, couldn't keep up, couldn't do the volume, couldn't even come close to it. Yeah. So that's it's the training, it's the mindset, it's the maybe a lot of the drug protocol now too is a little bit different. Maybe there's more insulin usage. Maybe there's more GH. I don't know specifically on that, but I think when it comes down to it's the work ethic and the training. Yes, Derek trains hard. You can see him. He's there killing himself as much as he can, but I don't think they realize that you could go harder than that to be the best of the best. And it's worked for him. It's worked for Samson, but you can watch how these guys train. And I showed it. I showed Samson Dowda doing behind the neck shoulder press, Smith machine. And then I showed Kevin LeBron, and he had a 25-pound plate on each side. And he was like, oh, fuck, shit. And he was like, fuck, that's hard, shit. After that set. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, Kevin LeBron was doing 4 plates behind the neck for reps, right? Strict form behind, right? And I'm like, they're not training hard enough. I'm sorry. It's not. That's why Kevin LeBron looked the way he did. That's why Ronnie looks the way he did. They train harder, and the muscle's different. It's denser. And we're straying away from that. I think there's a lot of pump workouts. There's a lot of, it looks hard and I'm getting a pump and this and that. Even Sean Ray, even when you watch his workout videos, he trained intense. It's a different style of training. And I don't see that in the workouts that I watch now with Derek and even Andrew, the style, the tempo of these workouts. It's just going through the motion. Here's my TikTok, film me. And I'm glad they do it because it is the social media age. They have to film it, but it's not like Battle for the Olympia. Those series with mock video or whatever and material. And you would watch these guys train and like, it's nowhere near the same. There's some athletes like, Jordan Hutchinson and stuff like that. They train hard and they train intense. And there's a lot of guys that do train like the old school way and their bodies look like it. Jordan Hutchinson, gnarly, grainy, branch-worn chest. Well, why does he look like that? Because look how he's training, right? It's like the old school kind of intensity training. And then I don't see that with Derek when he trains chest. It's not It's not the same, man. So I think it's a lot of it does come down to training. They're all human bodies, right? They all have body parts, but the body parts aren't as muscular and dense as Ronnie and Kevin LeBron and Dexter Jackson and these greats of the past.
Dorians and even Lee Haney, the way he trained. Like I said,
Lee Haney, the training, right? The intensity. I think it's a lot of intensity and focus. Yes, Samson pushes himself and Derek pushes himself, but it's just not the same. Something is missing where you can't see a bicep peak. You can't see separation between the tricep and the bicep, the muscularity. I mean, Samson has muscularity, right? And he's got good vascularity and it's close, but then he doesn't bring that level of conditioning that these guys brought. So it's weird that a lot, but then there's Hadi Choopan though. He does bring the muscularity. He does bring the conditioning and he's won the Mr. Olympia and rightfully so. And the crazy strided quads and everything. So, Hadi, I never kind of, only thing I poke at Hadi is on his delts. Sometimes they're getting a little weird. But other than that, he's one of the guys that could hang and compete with Yates and Ronnie and not be like too overlooked. So
who's your favorite Olympian
of all time? I would say
all time.
I would say Ronnie because that's Lee Haney too, but Ronnie because I was watching his videos when I was competing and I was like getting motivated to see him training and everything and his personality and his jokes and his sayings and stuff like that. And so definitely Ronnie is and then I also Sean Ray. I had all Sean Ray's videos, right? And so to see Sean Ray go from a guy that I was inspired by, and because we're the same height and complexion, like look at his brother, kind of like that when I was competing. So it's like, and then he goes off and this with Bob now, and it's not, and he's always been controversial. And he's always been outspoken.
Oh, look, I think
right?
you probably are brothers because he can be controversial too. He gives it a go.
And that's what I said. I like that about him.
Yeah.
But when I see him kind of being like a yes man to Bob and on the show and talking about the athletes and saying some negative things about the athletes and and then standing up with how the judging is being done. When he used to speak out about the judging, he's kind of changed his way. He's become a company man now and he can't speak. He's got to be careful what he said. So, I mean, I get it, Sean. He's got to do what he's got to do. He wants to stay on the show and be okay with the Manions and Steve. I get it. Do what you need to do.
Well, he's
still a fan of his physique. Maybe not the attitude.
Look, I think, I don't know. He's all right. He's all right. I mean, he's been like Sean used to call me all the time and we talk on the phone for an hour. He's great. Yeah, I talked to him too over the phone too. He's great. But the thing is, I think like you gotta
too far.
Oh, maybe, but you got to hand it to him. He's played the long game in the sport and he's still around and he's done amazing. Super smart.
He's very smart.
Yeah.
Educated, well spoken. He knows everything about the history of bodybuilding. He can talk about any individual. He's a little out of touch sometimes with the current guys. He doesn't know who was that guy? What was his name? He's kind of, but the history, the guys in the 2000s and stuff, he's on point with all that stuff.
But do you think as well that that's because of maybe not knowing the current guys? Like in the past, there would be Sean Ray riding his Harley Davidson. There would be Ronnie Coleman in the Hummer. There was Lee Priest in his Hummer or whatever. There's so-and-so in the Corvette. There's so-and-so in the Lamborghini. I mean, they made the sport feel like it was kind of flamboyant, unattainable, but that's what it was. You thought, if you're going to reach for the stars, and the way they trained, there was screaming going on and dumbbells being thrown on the ground and slapping but now it's kind of like, all right, the camera's rolling. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's not as exciting anymore. And there's no personality behind, like everyone's on Instagram. I get it. So we see them train every day. It's not exciting. You see the same thing. Okay. We get to see them every day now. So it's changed. The culture of how we get to view these athletes has changed compared to a new video came out, Battle of the Olympia. We get to see Lee Priest working out and it's a big deal. Because we haven't seen him work out in 2 years, or I don't know, a long time, right?
Yeah.
Versus you see Martin and you see Samson training every day on a chest, and then leg day, and then back workout, and this, and then we see it all the time. So it's like, okay, I'm getting used to this. I'm desensitized to it now. So it's not as like a big deal when we see workouts from pro bodybuilders now. So that's the difference. And you can't blame them for that. That's how it is now. So it's changed.
Then you had a story. Obviously, C-Bum's had his second child. How did C-Bum get it so right? How did C-Bum create something that, like, if I said to my daughter, Ronnie Coleman, she'd go, who's that? But if I go, Chris Bumstead, she goes, oh, Chris Bumstead. Yeah, I know Chris Bumstead. Like, and she's not, you know what I mean? Or anybody, you go, like, he's attracted the general public. What did C-Bum do? How did and why isn't, like, looking at that? I mean, the guy's training barefoot in the garage with a Camaro. I mean, I love that. Yeah, there's a Camaro. You know what I mean? Like, I guess he can stage it, but you can still see he's doing stuff. He looks good. He's wanting to be healthy, and he's a businessman. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah. No, I remember Chris. I competed with him at nationals.
Okay, great.
I remember walking up stage with him and being there. So it's kind of cool that I've kind of seen him from that perspective to where he is now.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think he was just the right place at the right time. And he was the kind of that became the face of this new division. And, you know, he had a great physique too, along with it, and good character, really humble, you know, guy. And that resonated with a lot of people. Marketable look.
Yeah.
Like I said, right place at the right time. And, you know, he won 6 times, and that's he kind of just rose with that wave. So sometimes you just get at the right place at the right time and have all the right pieces. And he had all the right pieces, and it worked. Right. Because there's Breon that won, and there was the other guy, the short guy, I forget his name now, that won the first one. Fuck is his name? Yeah, he won it. But anyway, he's like a Latino guy or whatever.
Yep.
But he didn't take off like C-Bum, right? It's because of how C-Bum looked, how his body was, how his character was. That's what
the conversations he had. But he also went and sat on other podcasts, and people spoke to him. Like, no one understands that. You know what I mean? He opened up.
Danny Hester. So Danny Hester, I think, was the first one to win the classic physique in the pro, like Olympia.
Yep.
But I believe. And then he lost it. And I think Breon might have beat him after that.
Yep.
And then C-Bum came along. So, and Breon became very popular too. And he did pretty well. Not at the level, obviously, as C-Bum, but he's well known. And C-Bum is it's just right place, right time, right person for it. And he's the face of classic physique. And now he's not competing anymore. And I think his stock is kind of now going down a little bit. And I don't know, like, he kind of just, at the end of the Olympia, when he walked off stage, he just kind of faded away and went out the back door by the garbage cans and said, that's it, I'm out, shut the door. And I was like, that's your going away kind of farewell thing, just out the back. So he didn't want to go out to the front and go do the interviews with the RX or whoever was standing out in the lobby like they do sometimes. He just kind of faded away and went to the back. So I don't know what's the future with C-Bum and his involvement in bodybuilding. And he's got a supplement brand. He's a Gymshark owner. You know, he's hiring all these new talent for his supplement company. So he's obviously heavily involved. Could C-Bum be a potential owner of the Olympia? Potentially. I've heard things about that. But, you know, and I think if anyone were to do it, I think he would probably be the best person to do it. Young guy, young team, marketing, they could really do a good job with it. So who knows what the future holds? Maybe that is the future, but we'll see.
Well, he's doing something a little bit different at the moment. He's slamming some medicine ball on the ground, and he's doing lunges and jumps and calisthenics kind of stuff. So I don't know what he's got a plan. Whatever his plan is, he's got a plan.
Yeah, he's got a plan. Maybe it's just more mainstream appeal, doing that type of workout versus the hardcore bodybuilding workout, right? So that's what I'm saying. I don't know what his involvement is going to be if his training has kind of changed that way. But, you know, it's just his training, whatever. You know, is he still a bodybuilder? But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how Classic does now that he's gone. You know, sometimes there's a certain individual that can prop up a division, and then when they leave, it's just like, oh, now it's going to flip flop. It's going to go to Dino, then it's going to go to Mike, and it's going to go to this person, right? And then it loses that dynasty. Like when C-Bomb, he was like, wow, okay, he's coming. He's won it 3 times. Is he going to get a 4th? He gets it the 4th, comes back. Man, can he get 5? And boom, gets 5. It's like but they don't do that no more. It's just like Derek gets it, Hottie, Samson, Derek again, whoever, whatever. It's like, okay, whatever. It's not exciting. It's like when someone can hold it year after year, it brings something special. It's like, this is crazy that this person can continue to be this good.
And they do hold the torch well. With Muscle Discord again, I'll go 2 more questions on that. What is one story that you believe should have done better, that it surprised you that it wasn't embraced, didn't track, and what was that?
Oh, I don't know. I've never even had time to think about that.
I just thought maybe you thought this would be, you know, interesting story, but maybe there's nothing there. I just thought I'd ask what was the best, what Dorian Yates was.
I can't think of any type of story that I kind of came out with and didn't really, I don't know, like it just does what it does. If it does well, I don't do something big. Oh, I hope this gets, I just do it because it interests me and I want to talk about it and I want to get the information out about it right away. And
well, that's
whatever.
That's a good, honest answer. And that's good for people to hear that it's not manipulated, that you're not sitting there thinking this is going to be great, which is good it's a good question for me to ask, for you to answer in a way that you did, that it's raw and it's honest. What are we going to see more? What's the latest with Muscle Discord and you and going forward?
Yeah.
Besides maybe being part of being the marketing team of the Olympia soon.
Yeah. No. I just want to kind of continue to improve the content. You know, I'm a couple of years on YouTube, and we're pushing towards 21,000 subscribers in a pretty short period of time. And
that's pretty good, man. Okay, wow, well done.
Thank you.
Well done.
And so I want to continue to give back to my subscribers because they're giving to me, and kind of level up my content. And I've got the lighting and I got the backlighting and stuff. So I'm just trying to get it better and build up the quality of the content and try and post more. I have multiple businesses and stuff, so I'm not like Ivan Bodybuilding where I can do this 7 days a week and post every day. And Ivan is good at what he does. I've had him on my show too, but it's his full-time job, right? And so I get to compete with that and try and get to how he's doing. And I respect the grind, but I can't do it at that level. But eventually I can slowly pace towards there and get, catch his 60,000 subs that he has after, he's been there almost 10 years. So he's been in the game a long time. Yeah. But, I'm just going to keep grinding, getting out the stories, behind the scenes. And why do I do what I do? I do what I do because I want the sport to be better, because I can see so much potential in it now, and it's not being leveraged. And it's being held back by certain individuals that should be doing a better job, and they're not. And so I call them out, and I get a lot of support. I get a lot of people. I was going to
ask that. How loved are you, and how disliked are you in all this?
Yeah, it's both. I think I'm doing a good job on both.
Okay.
A lot of people hate me and they despise me, and they think I'm this negative guy in the sport, and all you do is talk about this and that and da. And I have to, I'm sorry, but there's a lot of negative shit in the sport, right? There's a lot of terrible things that happen. And if people really knew the behind the scenes things that happen, they'd be shocked, right? And a lot of them are shocked when I do come up with my stories. When I do come out about JM Mannion and stuff, I could go on if you want on the show, but it's not a good look, right? It's not a pretty picture. And when they hear the stories I tell, they're like, I didn't know JM did that. I didn't know. Well, that's crazy. So I want people to know about the past. If you don't know about the past, you can't build into the future and make things better. You have to know the history. And that's what I try to talk about, because I want the sport to be better. I love the sport. You can see behind me what I've done. And, and I value this industry, and I don't want to see it die. That's why I'm putting out the warning calls. The sirens are blaring right now, and someone's got to speak out about it, or else we'll just get status quo, continue to do the same things, the same shitty lighting, they never improve it. And if they don't get the pressure, they won't make the change. And, when I spoke out and Bill Clayhar spoke out about the Masters Olympia athletes, and we made a big kerfuffle about it, the next day Jake Wood comes out and says, oh, sorry. Okay. Yeah, we're going to pay the Masters Olympia athletes. Sorry about that, guys. Because we spoke out.
Well, that's great. So, I mean, there's some positives there for voices. And I guess also you could say that maybe you're saying the things that people are thinking and don't have a platform, or maybe don't have the courage or aren't used to the resistance, and you are willing to take on resistance. You're willing to take on the dislikes, but you're also willing to take on the love. Yes.
I mean, there's a reason why Bob is talking about me and tapping back at me is because of what I'm saying, obviously, and that's fine. He can do that, and I encourage you to do what you need to do, Bob. Right? If I'm so if I'm triggering you that much that you have to respond to what I do, then okay. But it's not going to stop. Just because you're talking about me on your show and you're trying to make me look bad, it's not going to stop me, Bob. If anything, it's make me do more, because I know it gets under your skin. So you can keep doing it, Bob. And I don't give a fuck. I'll keep doing it. So it is what it is. I like to just be me and speak and not censor myself. I don't care. I'm not trying to offend anyone. I know I say a lot of things that are like, man, you're talking about Tyler like that. You're talking about Steve like that. And I had Steve on the show. Steve was, nice for the most part when he came on my show, very accommodating with the time and everything. And right. And then I have Nathan DeAstra on my show. And Nathan was like going in on Steve, saying he did this, I should have placed here, whatever. And then Steve calls me, did you fucking have that guy on your show? You let him talk like that about me. You fucking take that name off that fucking. That's how he talked to me. I'm like, okay, now I know who the fuck Steve Weinberg is. Now I know the real Steve. And I didn't appreciate that talking. Like, I'm part of the media. You think you control the media like that, Steve, to call me and tell me what I'm going to do with the video and who I interview? No. And that's when I lost it. And I'm like, I was being good. I had him on. I was doing interviews with Steve. It was no, right. But then I see that side and I'm like, okay. You want to control the narrative. All right. I see what's going on here. And that's when my eyes opened on who he was. And then I found out more backstories about Steve, and I talked to Jim Raquel, and you see him ripping scorecards up backstage and dictating what's happening at the judging table. Right. And so all of this shit, and you can see he's an intimidating guy. Right. He's got the rough kind of style to him, and, this way or the highway with the judging. So it is what it is. But, I'm not saying I hate Steve or anything. I just think
not say we
because I'm not personal. I don't, right. But he did cuss me out on the phone. It is what it is. I can take it, but it's just not like, you don't need to do that, man. Just if I have a guest on, you don't appreciate it. I don't appreciate the guest you had on.
Yeah, I guess you're offering voices for all and debate for all and opinions for all. And actually you're leaving it to the people. I guess what you're doing as well is leaving it to people. And like you said, there are going to be people that dislike you, but apparently as well, what you're saying is there are a lot of people that love what you're doing, and you're encouraged as well.
Yeah. When I do these things, I want things to get better. When I talk about Tyler, it's just my personal moral feeling. I don't think an executive should be dating or being involved with the athletes. It's not a bad look. It's a bad look. It doesn't set a good standard. And you can be above that. But I feel bad for the female competitors that are being judged by him, knowing that that's what he likes. That's who he fancies, right? He's judging you too. So I was like, it'll cross the line there.
But can you? I mean, it's a hard one.
Guys. As a guy, you're watching these women.
I mean, it's a hard one. There's all these good, beautiful girls with bikinis.
Get engaged to her after the show. Like, I'm not going to go that far. But
anyway, it is. I think, like I said to you, I'm just saying, like we're it's a tough one. I see your point. I'm hearing you. I'm just saying, like,
go to any other sport profession, and see if the judges in that sport are involved with any of the people they're judging, and see how far you go.
I'll be honest with you.
You won't get anywhere with that.
I probably won't even research it. Not that I say that I'll research. I like to be honest. I probably won't research it. But what I'm trying to say to you is sometimes chemistry, environments, situations, crossing paths, planets aligning. I don't know, but I get your point. As long as, look, I hear you. I know what you're saying. It's a tough one.
As a CEO, as a vice president, I'm sorry, but you got to, like, there's a lot of pretty women in your office. You got to just bite your tongue and be like, they work for me. I'm sorry.
What about Trump? He has a lot of pretty ladies around. God, have you seen all the ladies?
He's been divorced 6 times, so I don't think it's a great example. But
okay, that's true. But what about? So what you're trying to say is, whatever you do, don't go to a Coldplay concert with your HR person. Yeah,
exactly. See, and look what happened there. So with one of the employees, it's not a good look. People frown upon it, I guess. It's a conflict. Ooh. So you just gotta, you don't want to date your employees.
Yeah,
right. You don't want to date people that are on contract with you.
Oh, it's hard.
It's a conflict of interest. There's a favorite. It's not going to come back and look good.
It's a tough one.
They're in contract. They're on a contract with you.
No.
You own that business. You're the vice president of that business, and you're going to date that woman.
She is beautiful. She is beautiful, though.
Yeah, of course. Like, it's nothing to do with that. It's just like,
I know, but
have standards of professionalism. This is supposed to be a professional league.
Well, but he's not necessarily hiding it really either. He's kind of showing it off. So,
I know.
So I mean, if it was hiding it, it'd be a little bit worse, or if it was cheating. But look, I understand it. Once you get to certain positions, there are certain boundaries and certain rules, and when we get there, but.
Yeah, like what if Trump was his press secretary, Caitlin, or whatever her name is? They started having a little fling. You don't think that would be like?
Yeah, but the thing is, no, I see your point. But as long as it's not with Melania at the time. But yes, I see your point. I don't know. It's crazy things happen.
I get what you're saying too. Yeah. I see both sides of the coin. Like, again, love is love, and you just can't help it. And oh my God,
I'm actually going with the real thing. I'm not going with the fling. Yeah. Like, I'm trying to say, what do you like? I'm not trying to say. You can't go ahead and have flings with everyone, but if you're finding an emotional connection, something, what can you do about it? I don't know. Of course, it's not going to look good, but
he would just be like, I can't. I'm sorry, but I can't. It's tough. It's tough when it's a business. It's different. Like,
it's tough when they're gorgeous. It's tough when they're gorgeous too.
Yeah. So yeah, we can go all day with it.
We could go all day with it.
Tyler, it's Tyler's business. He can do whatever he wants to do, and it's not affecting, they don't seem to care. So he'll continue to do it.
Well, let's just hope it doesn't affect.
It is what it is. I just think it's a bit of a conflict of interest, but that's my opinion. Doesn't mean he has to listen to it. He can do what he wants to do.
Look, like I said to you, I wanted to get you on the show because I've been watching you myself. You have a voice yourself. You have an opinion, and this show isn't going to stop itself by having everybody on. Like I said, I'd have the Manions on. I had Bob on. I've had Sean Ray on. I want to get Jay Cutler on. I'd want to get, like I said, Jake Wood and everyone else. Yeah. I would love to have them all on and give them, and let the people, not the individuals of others, be judged, but let the I want people to listen to you. Maybe they want to, I think firstly for brand awareness, you're doing a great job coming on my podcast because it helps build personal brand, and your personal brand is you, your podcast and your food company. So all this, I think they're seeing snippets of you like I am, but I'm hoping that you on my podcast, even Bob and everybody gets to listen to this, because you can see that I haven't sat here, or any of us have sat here and dug so deep in it, but we've had a bit of a debate over it. But like I said, it's important to you as well, and it's important for your voice, and it's important for people to hear the whole story or hear the stories for a podcast. Yeah,
I agree. And at the end of the day, the pro league is here. Yeah. I'm a fan of bodybuilding. I watch the Olympia. I watch the pro shows. I commentate on them. I review them. So it is what it is. I love the sport. Yeah, I love the pro shows.
I can say that.
And everything. And so, I just don't like how certain things are run, and I get that's my opinion. Doesn't mean they have to disappear. They have to be done and stop running the show or anything like that. Right? It's not, but if something else comes along in the future, or there's another something, then okay. But right now, this is what we have, and this is all I know is the pro league and the people that compete in it, and they seem to hate me, and it is what it is. I don't personally hate Tyler. I don't personally hate Steve. Bob, I think I don't like Bob. He doesn't get off. But other than that, Sean Ray.
Bob would love it anyway. Bob knows media well. He'll pump this himself.
Bob is just like despicable human. I can't. I'm sorry. I just can't.
Let's not go too deep on him.
Sean Ray gets off the hook a little bit. He gets off the hook a little bit. Even though I go back and forth with Sean.
Yes.
He still keeps the door open, and we did talk back and forth, and it is what it is. But there's some people that I can give a pass on, and Tyler is doing what he's doing. Steve is doing what he's doing. I always say Steve is a good judge, obviously, right? Sometimes he makes calls that I don't agree with. Sometimes Tyler makes calls and judgment I don't agree with. But at the end of the day, they are doing what they're doing, and they've been doing it for a while now, especially Tyler. Steve, obviously, for a long time. And they're generally good at what they do in the judging. But sometimes they're off, and as fans and in the media, we can call them out on that. They shouldn't get upset when we do that, right? Especially when there's someone like me that can really articulate and be like, no, and come out on and make these videos, and they're probably watching them and like, oh man, this Matt is coming at us with this shit. It's part of the game. It's go watch football and all the commentary and all the talk about the quarterback and this and that. It's all they do. It's hardcore. Stephen A. Smith. But Dave Paloma said I'm the Stephen A. Smith of bodybuilding. Right? Because I get emotional, I get riled up, and I talk. So
Sean Ray was a little bit like Sean Ray was like that a lot in the sport. But I just because I want to I've got some new questions before we go over the body quickly. But I wanted to say I personally like Bob. Just hear me out. No, I
did. I had Bob on the show before, and he was joking with me after, and he was like, "Fine." But then kept going and going. And
but I think Bob, we got a post that's going absolutely viral at the moment, and if you hear and see some of the abuse on there hear me out first, towards Bob. Bob has worked the room perfectly. This thing is moving, and kind of Bob knows. I think somehow. I believe he knows where your presence is, and I think it works for the industry. I think he's balancing the books in some ways, but it doesn't seem that way. I don't think, personally, I would say he wants anyone to go away. As long as it creates eyes and ears and debate, I think he's a bit of a maestro in that area. I think like I said, I think I've seen people say some things to him, and he comes back with some articulate words to the people. And like I said, he's never, like I said, I've just seen people's reactions to certain things and he seemingly knows, okay, we're tracking well. Let's keep tracking. Let's get the analytics up. We'll just talk a little bit more about it. So I don't know. I just think he's a pretty cool guy.
Yeah. Just because I don't like Bob doesn't mean you like. Of course, people like Bob, right? People like Bob and people hate Bob. I see it in the comments. Bob's a clown. Bob's this. He's a douchebag. Get rid of Bob. Like I see it. Like it's both sides. It goes both ways.
It does go.
Same with me. People like, oh, Matt, keep doing what you're doing. And Matt's a clown. Like it goes both ways for both me and Bob. Of course, right? People love us or hate us or whatever it is. I just don't.
That's why maybe we need you both, because this sport needs it. Yeah. Maybe we need you both. You know what I mean? Maybe we need you both.
Yeah, you got to have the antagonist approach. Like you have to have that. And, I'll always be Bob's nemesis. And it's how it's going to be. And we're just getting started. I'm only 2 years into this. And look what I've done. So, Bob, get ready. I'm going to be around for a long time.
All right. I want to go, before we go over the body, these little quick answers. What makes a good training partner? What makes a good training buddy?
Someone that's reliable. That will show up all the time and be there consistent with you, patient with you, and can push you.
Okay.
Can really push you beyond your limit.
What makes a good friend?
Again, reliability, right? Honesty, and being truthful to you, because they're going to sugarcoat shit. That's not a true friend. A true friend will tell you, hey man, you look like shit right now. Like, what's wrong?
Okay.
That's a true friend.
All right. Because it's all about relationships here. What makes a good lover?
A lot of the same things I just said.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. I'm good with that. Yeah. What makes a good lover?
Yeah. I mean, it's someone that is there or ride or die for you. Right.
Okay. So. Ride or die with you. And the last question out of my spot question, because this is my 2026 spot questions. How does going to the gym, lifting weights, better or improve your life?
I think it improves your life by giving you that kind of format and routine. And there's something emotional from working out where it makes you escape from whatever distractions like that are happening when you're training at the gym. You're not thinking about the riots and the protests in the street. You're just working out and you're focused on the muscle and stuff like that. So it's a good escape.
Or in the moment, or you're in the moment too as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's what's good about going to the gym and getting out of your house and getting out of your comfort and going to that gym and challenging yourself every day.
I love those answers you gave. Thank you so much. Now, come to the end of the podcast. We'll go over the body. You're going to be a personal trainer right now for a moment. It's going to be one body part. All I need is an exercise, just sets and reps. Very simple. So I'm going to say traps.
Traps, well, shrugs. Yep. And how many, you want to know how many sets
and reps? Just
for traps, it's high. So about 3 or 4 sets, about 15 to 20 reps.
Okay.
Traps.
Delts.
Calves, kind of.
Okay. Delts, side delts.
Side lateral raises. Same thing, 3 to 4 sets. Mm-hmm. Again, I'm a high rep guy, so 15, 20 reps.
Okay. Front delts.
Front lateral raises, same thing. That's what I literally what I do.
Okay.
Same thing, yeah.
All right, we won't go sets and reps, but they're pretty much all the same. Rear delts.
Rear delts. I just do the when I sit on the bench and just rear delt raises when for that, or cable reverse rear delt pullback. So yeah. That's pretty much it. I don't actually do a lot of rear delt work, especially now that I'm not competing anymore. I might do like one exercise for rear delts, but yeah, bent over, reverse rear delt raises.
Okay, laterals.
Well, I do side lateral raises for my shoulders. For my lats, I would do my favorite exercise would be lat pull down.
Okay.
Yeah.
High reps, I'm assuming still. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. 12 reps or so.
Yep. Chest.
Incline, Smith machine.
Okay. Abs.
Yeah. Just any ab machine or rope crunches, like get on my knees and do the rope crunch. Yeah.
Bicep.
I love hammer curls. Like dumbbell hammer curls, and just regular bicep curls or barbell machine curls.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tricep.
Tricep rope push downs.
Yeah.
Love those.
Forearms.
I haven't done. I used to actually, when I was competing, I actually trained forearms.
Yeah.
But like where you're just sitting on a bench and you put your arm on your leg and you just crunching
rolls. Yeah. Forearm roll. Quads. Yeah. Quads.
I love leg press and leg extensions.
Are they high rep as well?
Yeah. High rep. I've always been like 12 reps at least.
Okay. Hamstring.
Just hamstring curl. Nothing crazy.
Glutes.
Look, I did the machine, like the abduct machine, just sit in there and do that. Other than that, nothing else. I don't do that thing where they're like sitting, putting the bar across their hip and
hip thrust
or whatever. Hip thrust. Yeah, I never got into that. That came after my time when I started seeing that.
You're not into it?
I just never did it because it wasn't a thing when I was competing back in 2010 and 2015.
Okay. Calves.
Just calf seated calf raises. Okay. Yeah. And standing is
okay. Tibialis. If you don't train it, you don't train it.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
I just throw it as a sounding like I'm intelligent. All right.
Yeah.
time to tell us where everyone can find you. The floor is yours for
Well,
promoting.
just Muscle Discord. Just on my YouTube, Muscle Discord, or Instagram, Muscle Discord. Make sure to follow me, subscribe. Everything, all my information is on my profile there. My link.
Awesome.
Inside my profile. So, yeah.
Well, Matt, I want to say thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate your time in this conversation. I mean, yeah,
thank you.
Like I said, just watching you on there and doing what you're doing, like I said, keep up the good work. But thank you so much. I'm very grateful to have you on.
No, I appreciate it, brother. And you too. Keep killing it with your podcast and everything you're doing and your interviews. I don't really do many interviews. I kind of started off my show that way.
Yeah.
But I kind of like, it's you have to manage the time with you, just like me. Like, okay, you're going to be there at 3:30, man. I'm already managing my businesses. I got to manage people for interviews and make sure they're on time and stuff. So I'll try and do more interviews, but you're killing it and with the interviews, and keep doing it, and giving back to the sport and your passion, and it shows too. So appreciate you, and I thank you for giving me the opportunity to come on your show. I hope people see this and that it's not the end of the world when I come on someone's show. I can have a good conversation with you, maybe open some eyes and see there's another side to me, and versus what they just see the short clips sometimes on YouTube and Instagram. So it is what it is. And at the end of the day, I do want to have a good season for 2026 in bodybuilding. There's always going to be controversy. There's always going to be drama in bodybuilding. And I will report on it as I always do. But at the end of the day, I love the sport. I'm heavily involved in it. I'm not just some dude that worked out and started a YouTube podcast and thought I could. No, I lived it, breathed it every day. That's what I do. And I want people to know that. And thankfully, you're having time to speak about myself. I don't speak about myself. I usually I'm talking about other bodybuilders. I'm talking about what's happening. So people don't really know me. They just kind of see me, right? So thank you for the opportunity to kind of, introduce myself a little bit more. I've done a couple other podcasts and whatnot, but I do appreciate it.
I'm thrilled. I can't wait till it goes live, and I can't wait to see what is said out there. And like I said, I'm very grateful and proud to, like I said, give you that mic and let it go out there and let's see what happens. Yeah, there's no editing here. It will be all raw, and let's see how it's embraced. But I think, personally, I'm hoping that everyone listens to the entirety, because the entirety is really where all your answers will lie. So, Matt, thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you, brother. Thank you for having me on.
Hey, guys, another podcast done with another wonderful guest. They're all greats, no matter who they are. To continue what we're doing and bring in the very best, if you could subscribe, hit the notification bell, press like, it only helps us to grow this channel even further and continue watching us here on YouTube or listening to us here on Spotify.